Civil War is out. We need to talk about it. I got a chance to see Alex Garland's Civil War at South by Southwest this year, about a month before it opened. And I'll be honest, I probably wouldn't have chosen to see this, as I was very curious about what the political background of the movie was. And I've seen some reviews that have said that the movie pulls its punches when it comes to politics. And yeah, a little bit. But it definitely shows where things are. And I'll get into that with a little bit of minor spoilers in a bit. But I do want to point out, this isn't a movie about politics. It's not a movie about who's right and who's wrong, although, again, it does kind of cover that. It is actually about war itself and PTSD. Not for the people that get drawn in or the victims, but the press. I've been a freelance writer for 25 years, and the first 10 years of that were as a full-time reporter. And while I generally avoided a lot of the more dramatic parts of the business, I have seen some stuff, and reporters I worked with saw a whole lot more. From my perspective, it was interesting seeing reporters treated this way. They were well-rounded characters. They had flaws, they had ambitions, they had their own honor, but still fractured in the way that covering something like this would do to a person. Closest thing I've seen to this is Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, which came out years ago, and I think this one did a better job. Although not the main character, newcomer Kaylee Spaney does an amazing job as the audience surrogate, as we follow her relatively innocent eyes as she goes through this perilous journey. And on the flip side, we have Wagner Mauda, who is kind of the opposite. We get to see a character who feels like they've seen it all, but still wants more. And yet, there is so much more that is left unsaid about this character, but is shown through the performance. It should go without saying for me that Stephen McKinley Henderson was the standout actor for this film. Every scene his character was in was a powerful one. I can't believe they cut his scenes from Dune Part 2. Of course, this film entirely rides on the performance of Kirsten Dunst, who plays our main character. I don't think I've ever seen her this grizzled, but damn if it didn't work. Now let's talk politics. Minor spoilers ahead. Alex Garland has stated, at least after the film came out at South by, that he wasn't trying to take sides and just kind of present things as war is bad and not political opinions. And obviously war is bad, but there are bad opinions. That being said, this film does take sides, even if it is not blatant about it. I mean, obviously there's the whole Texas-California thing, which doesn't make any sense until you remember Austin's in Texas. While it's hard to identify the alignments of a lot of the soldiers seen in the film, when we can tell who they work for, it's pretty clear. Jesse Plemons, for example, Kirsten Dunst's husband, he plays a federal soldier. And he is, I mean, this isn't really spoiling anything, not in the trailers. He's pretty damn racist. And Nick Offerman's president has the opening lines in which he is flat out lying to the populace, and probably himself, by saying that it's one of the greatest victories ever. And many people are calling it that. Yeah, it's pretty clear who he's playing, especially when we find out there are no victories. And that's kind of the point of the film. This isn't a movie about which side should win, or even if there are sides. It's a movie about war is hell, and we shouldn't have to take it anymore. I may not agree with Alex Garland's statements that kind of imply that, well, there's great people on both sides. But I do feel that this film is one worth watching, and I'm glad I watched it.